Hello and welcome to Judging by the Cover, where we'll be judging Fant4stic. By the cover. Poster, banner, whatever this is. I don't want to say poster because I couldn't picture this framed and hanging on the wall of a pretentious film student. Maybe the wall of a dumpster outside a second-hand DVD shop, and not so much hanging as stuck there with a homeless person's jizz. I love it when film marketers have to fall back on from the studio that brought you. The usual starting point in the quality by association fallacy is from the director that brought you, followed by from the producer that brought you, which is desperate in itself, and this is the final resort. A small handful of the guys involved in the creation of an unrelated good thing work in the same building as us. And you never know, maybe we caught some talent off the toilet seats. I'm with you, Fantastic Four. A city getting destroyed by fire raining from the heavens is no reason to stop your game of musical statues. While Mr. Born from Messy Anal Sex with a Box of Cornflakes takes a swing at yet another title that thought it could replace letters with numbers and get away with it. But if he does intend to complete the punch he's winding up, then it's going to hit the bloke next to him and smash him right onto his fucking face. Although he shouldn't take it personally, because the other two guys look like they too have recently been smashed onto their fucking faces. The boy looks like he's still wincing from his nose getting hit with a shovel, and the girl looks like the shovel. While we're in that area, what's going on with that building growing out of the back of the lady's neck? Is it supposed to be on fire? Because it looks more like someone splattered fluorescent orange paint down the side. Who could have committed this flagrant act of graffiti vandalism? If only there was some evidence in this picture that could identify the culprit. Red-handed, as it were. Blimey, that's some selective armour plating. Got to make sure we've protected the key weak points, the six-pack, the chest hair, the pubes, and the embarrassing upper arm tattoo. And make sure they're arranged in an exclamation mark as if to say, "Look out, I'm on fire!" Something bothers me about this plating. Nailed on at 4 points. Nailed on at 4 points. Nailed on at 5 points, possibly even 6. Kinda inconsistent. But then this is the bloke who doesn't know that IV is Roman numerals for 4. Duh! This image continues something of a trend in covers lately. The Witcher 3 did it as well, and that's characters being surrounded by sparks and particles flying up around their lower bodies, which would be perfectly fine if it was intended to illustrate motion, but everyone here is blatantly standing stock still. What, have they just tunnelled headfirst out of the ground? Are their lower legs engaged in an enthusiastic river dance just out of shot? Or maybe the stink of their sweaty undercarriages has attracted a swarm of flies? Speaking of undercarriages, it's interesting that the lady's lower body is fading away to invisibility while her upper torso and head remain opaque, because that's the exact opposite of what would be the ideal scenario. Not that I want to make too many personal remarks about her face. I suspect Photoshop deserves most of the blame, but she looks like she removed all her features with an orbital sander and then drew them back on with felt-tip pens. That's the first time I've ever seen a philtrum that extends through the mouth, unless she's hiding 2 Maltesers in her lower lip. If the chin was slightly more cleft, I'd assume she'd taken a machete blow to the lower half of the face. Finally, we have this ensemble, which is just sad. You weren't going to be shown up in the attaching random bits of pointless armour to yourself stakes, were you? Commander hairstyle accounts for 1/3 of the face length. What the hell is that? A baby harness? You gonna spend this battle bouncing up and down in a doorway? No, of course not, because a baby harness wouldn't have stocking suspenders. I agree with the letters on your upper thighs. F.A. Fuck all fashion aptitude. Sadly, this dynamic group of conventionally attractive young people aren't quite visually interesting enough to distract us from the fact that either the buildings are all falling into a sinkhole the size of Central Park, or the camera's at a wonky angle. Let's tilt the image to see how the buildings are supposed to look. Alright, now the body language of the creature from the chunk-style peanut butter lagoon makes a bit more sense. It's less about to punch something, and more struggling to maintain balance at the top of a slope. Whoa, whoa! Why do we have to all stand on this unreasonably steep wheelchair ramp? Well, how would you propose we make it less unreasonably steep? Now shut up and keep river dancing!